A fine morning, dear children. Let's continue the lesson Wet in the Forest. Where were we last week? We're talking about an animal which was wounded, which was in a with the group, with the herd, and it could not be separated. The forest officers actually they wanted to save this animal, but being in the herd of the animals, it was impossible because at any time the animals can attack this officers, so they were not, they actually wanted to separate this animal, they were trying to do it. Somehow they located this animal which was left alone. Okay, we'll continue. Page number 42, almost in the middle. We set off for the spot in our jeep with our two young friends as guides. Another 10 minutes and we were there. The injured elephant was standing on a slight elevation just across a depression created by a dry stream. Okay, and now how many are there? Already there were three, and after that a veterinary officer joined with them. Now two more friends, they came as guides. Another 10 minutes and we were there. After 10 minutes, we reached at the spot where the boys had informed that they had spotted this wounded elephant. The injured elephant was standing on a slight elevation just across a depression created by a dry stream. Okay, what is the meaning of depression here? Depression meaning we know, but what is the meaning which refers here? A part of a surface lower than the area around it. Okay, and this animal was standing in a slight raised platform, and near that there was a stream. Subrata was asked to prepare his syringe. Who was Subrata? He was a tranquilizing officer. What's the meaning of tranquilizing? To make someone unconscious or calm by giving medicine or injecting medicine. His experience so far had been limited to tranquilizing mostly monkeys, where time was not of the essence. He had therefore not thought of keeping the syringes ready. Showing admirable calm, he spread a cloth on the ground and arranged all the medicines on it neatly and methodically, taking all the time in the world. Okay. Even though he was not very expert in tranquilizing, not expert, he hasn't done it. He hadn't done ever in his life tranquilizing an elephant. Okay. His experience so far had been limited to tranquilizing mostly monkeys. Definitely he will tranquilize other animals, especially monkeys. That was his major area, where time was not of the essence. That means time was not of the essence, meaning is given here. Time was not an important factor to tranquilize monkeys. He had therefore not thought of keeping the syringes ready. That is why he did not prepare the syringes to be ready. It should be ready with medicines, but he did not prepare it. He never thought that he had to do it. And also he had no experience of tranquilizing elephants. Showing admirable calm, he spread a cloth on the ground and arranged all the medicines on it neatly and methodically. Even though he hadn't done it, he was a very good officer. He was very calm, and he spread a cloth and arranged all the medicines, because once this animal is being made unconscious, definitely he has to apply medicine. So he prepared everything after spreading a cloth, taking all the time in the world. He took time and he did it, taking care not to alarm the elephant any further. We urged Subrata in hoarse whispers to hurry. By that time, a small crowd had gathered behind us, ready with a battery of advice. Okay, taking care not to alarm the elephant. Alarm means threaten. Okay, that means they were very careful to not to threaten the elephant while moving from here and there. And we urged means moved forward in a hoarse whispers. Hoarse meaning is given here, um, rough. Okay, and they said to Subrata to be hurried. By that time, a small crowd had gathered behind us, ready with a battery of advice. Meanwhile, definitely we know if some adventures are happening, a number of people will be accompanying a group. And here also, from the village, many people accompanied them. There was a group with a battery of advice. That means battery here it means in order to give them some kind of guidance. By the time Subrata was ready, the frightened elephant had begun to move, limping visibly. Too many salt poles stood between us and the animal for an accurate hit. Subrata went forward slowly with his dart gun, and I followed to provide moral support and advice. Okay, so now the medicine is ready and he wanted to inject. By the time Subrata was ready, the frightened elephant had begun to move, limping visibly. Limping, it was unable to move, and with one leg, giving force to one leg, it has to move. And when this animal saw these people, it started to move, it started to limp. Too many sal poles stood between us. Sal poles, there is a kind of tree. In between there were a number of trees, and the animal for an accurate hit. Okay, that means they cannot spot this correctly, or they cannot get it correctly. Subrata went forward slowly with his dart gun. What is the meaning of dart gun? A gun that shoots an arrow containing some medicines. The arrow would hit the elephant and inject the medicine or tranquilizer into its body. Okay, so he prepared the dart gun, and I followed to provide moral support and advice. And I means the narrator. The narrator was actually he was in the group, and he also accompanied Subrata to give advice or to give guidance. Suddenly the elephant stopped. I clutched Subrata by his shoulder and whispered into his ears, "Fire!" Up came the dart gun. The animal winced slightly and, pricked by the dart, quickened its pace. We quickened ours accordingly. In about 5 minutes, its hind legs bent under its body, and then it slowly fell over sideways and lay on its side. Okay. Suddenly the elephant stopped. It remained there, it paused there. I clutched Subrata by his shoulder and whispered into his ears. Okay, when it stopped, the narrator advised Subrata that fire. Now it's time, proper time to fire. And up came the dart gun. Immediately he fired, and the animal winced slightly. What's the meaning of winced? Made a quick and slight movement. Okay, when the gun was hit, the animal winced. It moved suddenly and pricked by the dart. Pricked means make a hole. Means when this medicine or when the needle or the gun enters, there will be a hole, and that is why it will be getting pain. Quickened its pace. Pace means speed. It was moving faster. We quickened ours accordingly. Even though an animal was going very fast, we also fastened. In about 5 minutes, its hind legs bent under its body. Okay, that means what was the medicine which contained the in order to make it calm or unconscious. So it started to get effect in animal's body. So the hind legs bent under its body, means it is about to uh, fall, and then it slowly fell over sideways and lay on its side. So finally it fell. We approached the animal and closely examined its eyes. The breathing was regular. There appeared to be no immediate cause for worry. The vet confirmed that the body temperature and the pulse rate were normal for an elephant, but there was a frighteningly large abscess around the left knee. Okay, so we approached the animal and closely examined its eyes. Okay, they are now examining the animal whether it is in a critical stage. The breathing was regular, so they found that nothing is wrong with its breathing. It was regular. There appeared to be no immediate cause for worry. So there is no it may not have any critical stage now. Okay, so since the breathing is normal, the vet confirmed that the body temperature and pulse rate were normal. So the next thing, just like our body, the doctor the veterinary doctor is examining the animal's body. So he found that the pulse rate and temperature were also normal, but there was a frighteningly large abscess around the left knee. Abscess means pus. Okay, infected, and there is something that makes this animal more pain. There is pus was there in the left knee. The vet got to work. A deep cut across the swollen part of the leg brought out a flow of black blood. There was no other visible injury on the elephant and nothing inside the wound. The animal must have got injured stumbling over a cut piece of bamboo or a sal stump. After the necessary treatment of its leg and a shot of long-acting antibiotic, we bandaged the leg more for visual effect than as part of the treatment of its injury. We knew perfectly well that the bandage would not stay more than a moment when the elephant was on its leg after being revived with the antidote. Okay, the vet got to work. That means now the the medical officer is treating the animal. A deep cut across the swollen part of the leg brought out a flow of black blood, and they finally found that there was a deep cut in the swollen part of the leg, and there was black blood. You know that if some injury, some damage is there on our body, the blood will become black. So the blood was black there. There was no other visible injury on the elephant, nothing inside the wound. Okay, they couldn't find anything else, only this deep wound, deep cut was there, nothing else. The animal must have got injured stumbling over a cut piece of bamboo or sal stump. Okay, while walking, the animal must have walked or over a bamboo tree or a sal stump. Sal, that is another kind of tree. After the necessary treatment of its leg and a shot of long-acting antibiotic, we bandaged the leg more for visual effect than as part of the treatment of its injury. Okay, and after that they bandaged the leg after giving the antibiotic, which has long lasting effect, and for means they did it for visual effect. What does it mean? Because they have to convince the people who are there that they have done or they have applied medicine, otherwise they may not be believing. In order to make them convince, they have done this. Okay, we knew perfectly well that the bandage would not stay more than a moment. Definitely, it won't work with the animal because you know that it cannot keep still just like human beings. It will be moving, it won't take care. So definitely the bandage would not be remaining there. Still, they did it just to convince the people who gathered there. Once the elephant was on its leg, okay, that means when it started to walk, the bandage would be damaged, and after being revived with the antidote, okay, that means once it is coming back to conscious, definitely it will be walking, and the bandage would be destroyed. We expected the medicines to wear off any minute now, but the elephant showed no sign of waking up, as any healthy elephant should do a few minutes after receiving the antidote. Okay, and now it's time to wake up for the animal. It's still sleeping. Okay, we expected the medicines to wear off any minutes now. Wear off means lose effect slowly and finally it disappears. Okay, and they were expecting that it will be coming back to normal, but no. But the elephant showed no sign of waking up, as any healthy elephant should do a few minutes after receiving the antidote. That means, in order to come back to consciousness, they have to give a medicine. They have given it, but it's not coming back to normality. The ever helpful villagers who were watching us from a distance brought buckets of water from a nearby stream to pour on the drugged animal to keep its body temperature down. They also brought back the disturbing news that the herd was back and was making quite a bit of commotion just beyond the stream. Okay. And the ever helpful villagers, that means there were a number of people who were following this group of the people who are rescuing the animal and who were watching us from a distance brought buckets of water in order to wake this animal up from a nearby stream to pour on the drugged animal. Drugged means it had been given medicine and in such a way only it went unconscious to keep its body temperature down. Okay, still its body temperature is high, so in order to keep it normal, they poured water over this animal. They also brought back the disturbing news that the herd was back. In between the herd, another news. What was it? The herd of elephants are back and was making quite a bit of commotion just beyond the stream, and they are making commotion means a lot of noise, confusion and excitement just beyond the stream, and these people are near the stream, you see. So they are afraid whether they will be reaching fast, and they have to move immediately. The elephant, having made a couple of unsuccessful attempts at lifting its head, fell back into a deep sleep, gently snoring. As responsible managers, we should have stayed around for a moment for its survival. Unfortunately, there was not one salt tree strong enough to support a machan on which we could spend the night. Clearly, it would not be possible to spend the night on the ground with about 50 wild elephants just a couple of 100 meters away, eager to come to the aid of their fallen companion. Okay. The elephant, having made a couple of unsuccessful attempts to lifting its head, it was trying to lift its head from sleep, but it fell back into the deep sleep again and it was snoring. As responsible managers, we should have stayed around for the moment of its revival. Okay, actually, if we are responsible to manage, definitely we would have stayed there till it comes to conscience. Unfortunately, there was not one salt tree strong enough to support a machan. What is machan? What is meaning is given here? A platform set up high on a big tree from where people can observe wildlife. Okay, that means now I don't know whether it is there, but earlier the people used to be there on on the tree, and there will be a platform to observe what is happening around. Especially if the wild animals come and attack, they can understand it. But there was not enough. He's telling the or narrator is telling that there was not enough a strong salary to support a merchant. There was not, okay, on which we could spend the night. Okay, clearly it would not be possible to spend the night on the ground with about 50 wild elephants just a couple of 100 meters away, eager to come to the aid of their fallen companions. Also, it is a dangerous thing if they are remaining on the ground. If they happen to be on the tree, it's okay, but if they are coming to the ground, it's not possible to be there, because that is dangerous. A herd of elephants are approaching them, so it will be a difficult thing. It will be a dangerous thing, so they have to return. The heat and our parched thoughts forced us to turn back. Reluctantly, we returned to the jeep and went back to the rest house. Okay, and finally, because of extreme heat of the march and the parched throats, that means our throats were dried since we hadn't have any water. It forced us to turn back. So they were compelled to go back to their areas. Reluctantly, we returned to the jeep and went back to the rest house. Okay, finally, anyway, went back to the rest house in their jeep. The next day, to our relief, we found that the elephant had revived during the night and the herd had taken it away. When they reached the next day to the same place, there was not that young elephant. It had been already taken away by the herd. Okay, it's a good story which tells about how these forest officers especially protect the animals. Okay, they take care of the animals. How means they take each and every minute details to protect the lives of the animals. Okay, children, I'll be sending you the question answers. Please send me to the Google Classroom after writing it. Okay, children. Thank you.